really just, just to kind of, if you don't know already what this group is about, many of us here have been gathering together for a few years now, and I really want to keep the train moving forward. I really want us to grow together and continue to explore together. So that was really the main intention of the email. People that are brand new to meditation, this might not be the place for them, but if you're here, I hope you get something from the class. And I do enjoy when people reach out to me. I do enjoy when people ask me questions, either in class or via email. So I get a sense of where you are at with your practice. So we just came off a retreat at the Dharma Center and on Zoom as well. And really working with what we've been working with for quite a while. But I want to spend more time with the working with the idea of awareness, working with using awareness as an object. We've been doing a lot of samatha practice, which is really the foundation, which is really the legs for the practice for looking at awareness. So the idea with a samatha practice, which in our case has been working with the breath, working with sensations in the body, the idea of doing that practice is to bring us to a point where there's a natural attention, a natural clarity, a natural strength of mind that is not wandering. It doesn't mean to say that you don't have thoughts, but in the beginning, working with the breath, working with watching the mind, if you will, not getting caught in thought, it seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of work. But through the establishment of samatha, of tranquility, and the establishment of mindfulness, we come to a point in the mind, we come to a point in our experience where there is a sense of equanimity, if you will, a sense of not easily being pulled away from the content of mind. And when we get to that point, we develop the ability to rest there, just to be there. So this is an important point. There's a point where we use effort to quiet the mind, to slow the mind down. But at some point, we let go of that effort and we just relax into that sense of awareness. And then that becomes our object. Now, I know the idea of awareness becoming the object is a tricky concept for some, but that's okay. You'll get there. It's a tricky concept as long as it's a concept. As long as we're approaching it with concept, it's not going to make sense. It will to a certain degree, but not really. So we develop in this training access to a quality of mind that can get into that natural state of relative quietness and stability. So we arrive there, and when we arrive there, we realize that it's a natural state. It's not something we've built up. We don't need to make something that's not resting rest. We don't need to make something moving still. So we come to that state of quietness. And that is what's resting. It's not the movement in the mind. It's not the movement in the mind. So there's a place where we let go of the effort and we just look. And we just look. In my hand, I hold a flashlight. Probably won't work here. But so this flashlight is awareness, is attention. So we put our attention here, we put our attention here, we put our attention here. But imagine, if you will, with this attention, with this light, that it's on a wall. I'm shining the light on a wall in front of me, and I have my finger up. The finger casts a shadow, right? We all know what that looks like. It's kind of hard to do it here, but the finger casts a shadow. The light doesn't change. The fingers are doing this. The light doesn't change. We're not trying to stop the fingers. There's no need to stop the fingers. There is no need to make that which isn't resting rest. We don't need to make something moving stay still. The light of awareness. So with the practice that we've been doing, we are slowing this down. Can you see my fingers clearly? I can't really exactly see what you're seeing. Oh yeah, you can see my fingers clearly. So with the practice that we're doing, we're slowing the fingers down enough so we can see the movement. When we slow it down enough so we can see the movement, we start to see the light. We start to have a sense of the light that's showing the movement. But when it's going like this all the time, we are so caught up in this, it's really hard to have a sense of this. We are so caught up in this because it doesn't stop, man. It doesn't stop. What's that Rod Stewart album? Every finger tells a story? No, that's every picture tells a story. But if we don't slow this down and we say just look at awareness, which there's a lot of that teaching out there, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. So we've come far enough in our practice now that this aspect of practice needs to be an essential part of our work. It needs to be an essential part of our work. And even if you can't quite find it, stop and look. Just look. So at some point in the meditation, we turn our attention to awareness. We use an idea. And in this movement, it helps if you make that sound. In this movement, then we rest. This is watching your fingers. This is turning our attention to awareness. In this movement, this is where we rest. And then we're back to the movement again. And we look again. And what we're looking at is the essence, what we call the essence of mind. The ground of being. So it's not that you don't have it. It's not that you're not part of it. It's just there's too much of this. And so that's why we need, in a gentle, loving, kind, compassionate way, every day we need to work with the practice. We need to develop it. And in those moments of this, they start to become more natural. They start to become more natural. There's a saying, I don't know who said it, but I like it. There's a saying, fake it till you make it. And even if you don't think you're doing it, imagine that you are. I studied as an acupuncturist. And, you work with a theory and meridians and acupuncture points. You start to stick needles in people. And you're working with this idea of chi, energy. And it's like you put a needle in and you're like, do I feel the chi? It's like, no, I don't feel the chi. I don't feel nothing. Why am I studying this? Is this for real? Do I feel the chi? No, I don't feel the chi. And you do more study and you watch treatments, you have treatments, and you start to get a little confidence in it. Like, when I get a needle in my left shin, I always get this vibration on the middle of my right scapula. That's interesting. So you start to have faith, you start to have confidence. And then you're like, okay, so there is this thing called chi. Put the needle in. Yeah, I think I found it. And there's a point where you have to suspend your disbelief because it's your idea, your concept that is keeping you separate from the experience that's at your fingertip. It's your ideas. And there's a point where you learn to let go of your self-doubt and you just start to, your attention just starts to be able to be with the fingertips in the direct way, the sensation on your fingertips. That's where you feel the chi. But there's a point where you kind of have to fake it. Sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't. But there's a point where it's like, yeah, I feel it. And you tell yourself you do. But that's just opening yourself up, suspending disbelief, letting go of concept. And in some ways with this practice as well, let go of self-doubt. Watch out for self-doubt. There it is. What's the next thing that comes up? Self-doubt. Nah, couldn't be. I don't think so. Nah. I have too many thoughts. This mind essence is the nature. It's the essential core of the mind. It's there. You're experiencing it right now. It's this. It's this. This is the doubt. This is all the ideas. You slow down enough, slow down enough, slow down enough, and you feel the chi in your fingertips. It's like, So that's what we're doing. The tranquility meditation, the samatha meditation, same concept, is really important. The application of mindfulness throughout the day is really important. These are all foundation blocks that when we come to this point, it gives the mind the strength and the clarity to know it. And I just thought of this now, but you notice how I'm turning away. Well, that's really what we're doing. We're turning away from concept. We're turning away from concept. And at some point, when we really recognize it, then we don't have to turn away. Because really, where could we turn to? Where could you turn to? That's not awareness. Where could you turn to that's not an aspect of innate awareness? Yeah. We don't need to make something rest that's not resting. We don't need to make something moving stay still. We don't need to make something that's not resting rest. We turn away from the activity and we look in the face of awareness. And in some ways, it's just turning away from the activity. It's turning our minds away from the activity. And being present to what's present.